The European Commission is urging EU governments to suspend the sale of visas to Russians and Belarusians. The schemes particularly in focus are so-called golden passport schemes. Several EU countries run golden visa and passport programs directed at wealthy foreign nationals who want to acquire residency by either investing a substantial amount of money or purchasing property. Since the start of the Russian aggression in Ukraine, the European Union has blacklisted nearly 700 top politicians, businessmen and military staff accused of supporting the Kremlin. The Commission has now urged an immediate end to existing national programmes for the sale of passports. Brussels is also asking governments to check whether sanctioned Russians hold a golden passport or visa that they have issued, and says nations should immediately withdraw such residence permits. The move follows the European Parliament's push to shrink and regulate the multi-billion euro citizenship and visa industry. According to the European Parliament, at least 130,000 people obtained a so-called golden passport or visa between 2011 and 2019. The EU has long considered it a security risk which could facilitate corruption and money laundering. Currently, only Malta, Cyprus and Bulgaria still run such schemes, and they have all committed to ending them. Russia, meanwhile, is preparing retaliatory visa measures. The Russian foreign minister has been reported as saying that the country will restrict entry for citizens from so-called unfriendly countries.
Дополнительно сейчас разрабатывается проект указа президента об ответных мерах визового характера в связи с недружественными действиями ряда иностранных государств. Этот акт введет целый ряд ограничений на въезд на территорию России.
After the West piled unprecedented sanctions on Moscow, Russia expanded the list of what it calls unfriendly countries. It now includes the US, Australia, Canada, Britain, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, all EU member states, and several others as well. Next to the United Kingdom, where London police are issuing at least 20 fixed penalty notices as part of their investigation into illegal parties held at the Prime Minister's residence and office during strict COVID-19 lockdown periods. The Metropolitan Police says investigations will continue and more so-called fixed penalty notices are likely to be issued at a later date. Those receiving them won't be named publicly. However, Downing Street has always said that it would confirm if the Prime Minister received a fine. Police are investigating 12 separate events in 2020 and 2021, 6 of which are said to have been attended in some form by Boris Johnson. The announcement marks the first official confirmation that events in Downing Street and Whitehall broke laws created by Boris Johnson's government. His early denials about rule-breaking and subsequent revelations have sparked calls for his resignation from across the political spectrum, although some in his own party who were calling for him to go now say that he should be staying in post given the crisis in Ukraine. China's most populous city, Shanghai, has once again tightened the first phase of a 2-stage lockdown. As it entered its second day of COVID curbs, authorities have now imposed restrictions on highway traffic and cross-river bridges to try and contain surging COVID-19 cases.
Shanghai entered a 2-stage lockdown Monday as the financial hub of 26 million people scrambles to contain surging COVID-19 cases. The snap lockdown, which was announced on Sunday, will split the city in two, roughly along the Huangpu River, for 9 days to allow for staggered testing. It's the biggest COVID-related disruption to hit the city. While residents east of the Huangpu were confined to their homes, those in the west stockpiled groceries and other essential goods as they prepared for a similar fate starting on April 1st. This shopper at a Shanghai wet market said there's nothing left and they're at a loss for what to do. The lockdown order marks a turnaround for Shanghai's authorities, which as late as Saturday denied the city would be locked down. Shanghai's Public Security Bureau said it was closing cross-river bridges and tunnels and highway toll booths concentrated in the city's east until Friday, and people leaving the city would have to show a negative test taken within the previous 48 hours. Shanghai also ordered the suspension of work at firms and factories, exempting those offering public services or supplying food. Some hospitals also suspended services as they release staff and other resources to assist with mass testing. Shanghai said earlier this month that its daily testing capacity was around 3 million, but some doctors warned it still might not be enough to outpace the rapid spread of the virus.
With just 2 weeks to go until the first round of French presidential polls, candidates eyeing the country's top spot are ramping up their election campaign. France's incumbent President Emmanuel Macron, who is seeking a second term, has so far maintained a comfortable lead in opinion polls. And as Macron campaigns, he's been facing dozens of voters who are worried about squeezed incomes, rising energy prices, the security situation and the ongoing war in Ukraine.
Moi, je me bats pour le projet qui est le mien, pour cette vision qui est celle de l'unité de la France. J'ai essayé de la maintenir pendant ces 5 années. On sait les difficultés, les divisions qui sont là, on ne les a pas toutes corrigées, je suis très lucide. C'est aussi pour ça que je veux continuer à m'engager. On a également, je crois, un projet d'avenir, là où beaucoup d'autres sont dans la nostalgie. Moi, je pense pas par ces divisions.
The latest polls suggested Emmanuel Macron could secure 27% or so of the votes in the first round. The far-right candidate Marine Le Pen, who is the key competitor for Macron, is thought to be heading for around 21% of the vote, according to the polling. This would lead to a Macron-Le Pen second-round runoff, a repeat of the 2017 presidential election. Around 48 million French voters are eligible to cast their ballots. The winner of the polls will get to shape French policies for the next 5 years. To Peru now, where President Pedro Castillo has survived an impeachment vote in Congress. It fell short of the votes needed to oust the leftist leader. Pedro Castillo took office in July last year after winning an election with a slim majority. His presidency has been mired in scandals, causing a dip in his popularity ratings, down 26%, and sparking social protests. The president has switched cabinet members faster than any other administration. On the 14th of March, Peru's Congress approved the start of impeachment proceedings against him over allegations of corruption, with the opposition alleging he is morally unfit to govern. On Monday, Castillo and his lawyer stood before the Congress to present their defense.
Señores congresistas, la vacancia promovida es por la causal de incapacidad moral permanente. Todos saben que no contiene un solo elemento que la sustente válidamente, pues se trata de una recopilación de versiones de un sector de la prensa. En la moción en debate solo encontramos dichos sin ninguna corroboración, especulaciones, nexos imaginarios y sin sustento en los hechos y en el derecho.
55 lawmakers out of 130 voted in favour of the impeachment, but the Congress needed 87 votes to impeach Castillo. He's a former teacher from a farming family who shot to power with support from the poor. The day also saw prosecutors raiding the homes of Castillo's former officials and relatives. In a show of power against Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan, thousands of opposition supporters have staged a rally in the capital Islamabad. At the rally against the PTI-led government, the Pakistan Democratic Movement, PDM, renewed its pledge to try and topple the Imran Khan government. Leaders of the joint opposition, including PMLN leaders Shehbaz Sharif, Maryam Nawaz and JUIF chief Maulana Fazlur Rahman, addressed the public gathering called an inflation march. The opposition say they have gathered to bid farewell to Imran Khan.
ये करप्शन और बदतरीन बदध्यानगी का नतीजा है। पौने 4 साल इस गरीब कौम ने बर्दाश्त किया और फिर पार्लियामान में हमने फैसला किया कि 22 को अवाम की जो ख्वाहिशात हैं उनका मुतालबा है। हमने ये वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस या अदम एतमाद की तहरीक 8 मार्च को दाखिल की।
इस नाअहल के खिलाफ बाज़ाब्ता तौर पर अदम एतमाद की तहरीक पेश हो चुकी है और आज तो पेश हुई है। 1 हफ्ते तक उसकी नींदें हराम रहेंगी। अब इस हुकूमत के खात्मे का वक्त करीब आ चुका है और ऐसी नालायक, नाजायज और नाअहल हुक्मरानी का ऐसा खात्मा किया जाएगा कि दोबारा ऐसी हुक्मरानी पाकिस्तान पर मुसल्लत करने की कोई जुर्रत भी नहीं कर सकेगा।
The rally came hours after Pakistan's parliament took up a no-confidence motion moved by opposition lawmakers. The opposition leader in the National Assembly, Shehbaz Sharif, proposed the no-confidence motion against Imran Khan. The parliament's deputy speaker, Qasim Suri, accepted the motion and adjourned the body until Thursday. The House will begin a debate on the motion then, and a vote is to be held within 7 days. Pakistan's opposition says it has the required 172 votes in the 342-seat House to oust the Khan government. 4 lawmakers have also announced they're quitting Khan's coalition government. The ruling PTI received another setback from Balochistan. The provincially ruled BAP parted ways with it and announced its support for the opposition's no-confidence motion. Pakistan is facing a severe economic crisis with dwindling foreign currency reserves. Imran Khan has vowed to fight to stay in power. The chief financial officer of Huawei Technologies has returned to the corporate stage for the first time since her high-profile return to China last year. Meng Wanzhou took to the stage at an annual corporate presentation.
Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to our stage, Ms. Meng Wanzhou.
In her first public appearance at a corporate event since returning to China from nearly 3 years of house arrest in Canada, Huawei Technologies CFO Meng Wanzhou delivered the company's annual results on Monday, saying a lot had changed during her extradition battle with the United States.
The last time I attended a Huawei annual report press conference was 4 years ago. The past 4 years have seen tremendous changes in the world, so in China. In the few months after I came back, I've been trying to catch up.
During the press conference, she told reporters that pressure put on the Chinese telecoms giant by the U.S., which has called Huawei a national security threat and imposed trade restrictions on the company, had only strengthened Huawei's resolve.
Over the past few years, our teams have undertaken a lot of pressure, and along this process, we have become more united, and our strategy has become clearer.
Meng, the daughter of Huawei's founder, played a central role in the company's fight with the U.S., having been detained in Canada in 2018 over alleged attempts by Huawei-linked companies to sell equipment to Iran in breach of U.S. sanctions. Meng was allowed to return to China in September after an agreement with U.S. prosecutors to end a bank fraud case against her. Washington's trade restrictions have weighed heavily on Huawei's smartphone business, crippling its ability to design its own chips and source key components from outside vendors. Full-year revenue tumbled 29% last year, which Meng attributed to the impact of the U.S. sanctions, as well as supply chain issues.
Since August last year, Afghanistan has been under heavy Western sanctions. Assets and reserves belonging to the Afghan people have been frozen by the United States. In the country, the national currency continues to lose value. Banks are running out of hard cash. And so many young Afghans have been looking for workarounds, and one is cryptocurrency.
Arezo Karimi peers intently into her phone. She's dealing in cryptocurrency. A few taps, a couple of clicks, and she's done. An official at the counter verifies her payment. It checks out. He hands Arezo a bundle of hard currency. This routine is becoming common in Afghanistan. Ever since the Taliban came to power, Western sanctions have crippled Afghanistan's banking system. Transferring funds from abroad is impossible. So is withdrawing large sums. Cryptocurrency offers a workaround.
People don't have any way to exchange foreign currency, to receive money being sent, or to send money they want to transfer. That's why they're shifting to cryptocurrency. It is more convenient.
For students like Arezo, crypto is a game changer. They used to receive money from Western NGOs. Since August last year, those payments have stopped. The fear is the money will be seized by Islamists. Even funds within Afghan banks are not easily accessible. You can take out $200 a week, $2,000 if you run a business. That's where cryptocurrency comes in.
Since the Taliban came to power, cryptocurrency transfers to and from abroad have increased by 80%. People are using it to solve their currency problems in this way.
Sanctions do not apply to cryptocurrencies. They are decentralized in nature. No governments control them, which makes them perfect to circumvent sanctions. NGOs send cryptocurrency to students like Arezo, around $200 per month. The students come here to crypto exchanges to trade their digital money for hard cash.
The $200 received via NGO in crypto helps us if we need anything in the house, like rent, food or clothing expenses. It's really very useful.
The issue with crypto is access. You need a smartphone, you need internet, and most importantly, you need a crypto exchange. Surprisingly, Afghanistan's grassroots crypto campaign is impressive. It ranks 20 out of 154 countries.
It was very surprising for me to learn that crypto could be used in Afghanistan. Usually in Afghanistan, people become aware of these things later than other countries. But you can see here, there are several places, 3 or 4 money exchanges where we can withdraw our cryptocurrency or exchange our money for Afghanis. It's very good.
Not just humanitarian assistance, even trade is being done through crypto. Which one do Afghans use? The BUSD, also called stablecoin. Unlike Bitcoin or Dogecoin, stablecoin is not prone to wild valuation swings. It is backed by the US dollar. One stablecoin equals $1. If you're brave enough to harness the system, there is money to be made in the Afghan crypto market. You can conduct trade, you can receive foreign assistance, but the moral debate is a tough one. Shouldn't crypto exchanges join the sanctions? Are cryptocurrencies undermining global efforts to contain the Taliban? For now, these exchanges in Herat are not bothered about that. For them, livelihood comes first. South Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.
The Venezuelan capital has thrown an exclusive pool party for dogs. The party, the first of its kind, saw around 40 dogs taking a splash with their owners in the pool. And we'll leave you with that story. Thanks for joining us today from Riga in Latvia.
many other.
This is right, Arab.